All of those things are great to build it up because if you don't want something, you're not going to work for it. If you don't believe you can get something, you're never going to take those steps. If you haven't convinced your mind that you can do it, you're never going to make the step. To me, that specified knowledge is not always knowledge, but it's knowledge that has a purpose. It's knowledge that can be applied to something. Now, I love general knowledge. I love watching the History Channel. I love studying archaeology. And there's, the old joke, there's no future in archaeology. Um, it's it's all past. It's not practical. It doesn't necessarily help me in my daily life, in my business. Now, sometimes this specified knowledge, you have to think about what's the real purpose. And Tony Robbins is, of course, famous for his firewalk that he does. And, knowing how to do a firewalk is, at least I hope, one of the least practical things I will ever have to learn in my life or could ever learn. Because I hope I never have to actually know how to do that in a real life situation. But there's a purpose to what he's doing in teaching people how to do the firewalk. And that purpose is to teach people that they can do things that they never thought they could. They can accomplish things beyond what they dreamed of before. And if they can do a firewalk and conquer their fear, they can conquer other fears and succeed in other areas. So he has a very definite purpose as he shares this knowledge with his audience and his participants to do this firewalk. Now, a lot of times we don't take time to think about what the purpose is behind some of this knowledge. Years ago, when I was in college, I got invited to a friend's house to learn about Amway. Some of you may have heard about Amway before. I had heard the name, but I didn't know anything else about it. So I got to his house. We sat down, and he gave me this beautiful presentation talking about Rockefeller and how he hired other people to begin doing some of the business and how that opened up the franchise model and how you could earn money by franchising work out to other people and earn a residual income on all of that. And wonderful presentation. I learned a lot of very valuable information in that. At the end, he said, well, what do you think about joining Amway? And I said, well, what does Amway sell? He somehow in the presentation completely missed the fact that there's a product that Amway sells. And I had no idea what it was. He goes, oh, well, it's like, cleaning stuff, because this was a long time ago in an old version of Amway. That specialized knowledge was great, but there was no purpose behind it if I didn't understand the real specifics. What is it I actually need to do? You can have the great mindset. And I know we talk about business books, we talk about mindset, and Napoleon Hill is huge on the mental aspect of what we're doing. Having the desire, the faith, going through auto-suggestion that we've talked about so far. But at some point, you got to have an actual knowledge of what you're going to be doing. Now, Ben and Jerry is a great example of that. They decided they wanted to make ice cream, and they signed up for a correspondence course on how to make ice cream. I'm sure they started out with dreams of how much money they'd make and how they could sell it. They dreamed about these great flavors that no one else had ever done before. They dreamed about a gourmet ice cream that didn't exist really until Ben and Jerry came around. But then I don't know how they did that. Maybe they flipped through a magazine and found an advertisement for a correspondence course in making ice cream. And they got that specialized or specified knowledge. I actually wrote down specialized knowledge instead of specified knowledge. So I think my ADD, my dyslexia fit in there as well. But I think the two of those both work. They had to know in the end how to make ice cream. Didn't matter how much they dreamed and believed they could make money doing it. If they didn't know the ingredients of ice cream, it was never going to succeed. Now, I had my own example of my own story of that as well. I love energy drinks. Okay. and not just the caffeine boost. I love the flavor of energy drinks. I love the orange monster drinks. The Celsius has some great flavors, the ghost drinks. And I wish they would make a non-energy version of these because honestly, I'm not a fan of cola. I don't like Coke and Pepsi. And that's all I get when I go out to drink or out to eat and order a drink with it. Maybe a 7 Up or a root beer. I want a new, interesting flavor. So I thought, okay, I should go and just make a good flavored soda. And also being diabetic, I wanted sugar-free ones, which most of these energy drinks have great sugar-free versions. So if they can make a sugar-free Monster, why can't they just make a sugar-free soda that doesn't taste like a sugar-free soda? um, they should be able to do that. So, okay, that's a great dream. I'm going to do that. Two big problems. First of all, I don't know how to make a soda. I don't know how to make flavoring. I don't know where to buy flavorings. I don't know where to manufacture them. I don't know how to get cans for it. Okay, I said two problems. There's a whole bunch of problems in there. Nothing to do with my belief system, nothing to do with my desire. It has to do with the fact that I don't know what the heck I'm doing. If I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not going to be able to do it. If we don't have that knowledge that is specific to what we're trying to do, we simply cannot succeed. You know, you're not going to take your car to a dealer, to a garage to be repaired. If doesn't matter how much the guy loves cars, if he's never learned how to repair one, you're not going to take your car there. You're not going to get a good job done with it. When I take my car to the shop, if it needs to be repaired, the mechanic doesn't come to me and say, how would you like me to repair this? Because I don't have the knowledge. I trust he does. Say, well, you figure out what's wrong and then you fix it, and my part will be paying for it. And I think we have a good partnership here. It works well that way. When I was younger, I went through this weird stage where I had hair on my head and I would go to the barber to get a haircut. And my feeling was the same. This guy has studied how to cut hair and spent time doing it. So when he says, how would you like it cut? I say, well, you're the expert. Just cut it so it looks good and ask me what I want. I don't know. I've never studied it. I don't have the knowledge of that. So if we want to be successful in life, we have to have the specific knowledge to do the job that we are working on. You know, I work in several different industries. Like a lot of entrepreneurs who are watching this, we've got several different fields we work in. One of those is life insurance. I've had to gain special knowledge specifically on how life insurance works because I learned most of my clients don't know how life insurance works. They've got a basic idea, but they don't understand the specifics of it. So first of all, I need to learn the specifics of my industry. I need to know more than my clients, and I need to know more than my competition so that I am the expert in what I'm doing. Once I have learned that, I then need to be able to simplify that so that when I'm talking to a client, they understand what I'm saying. They understand, in this case, life insurance without having to go through dozens of hours of training that I had to go through. I need to be able to simplify it. And generally, I need to be able to storyify it. I'm making up a new word here, but I think we should start using storyify. I need to storyify it so I can take that knowledge, that specific specialized knowledge that I have gained, and put it into a story so people understand what it is I'm talking about so that they can internalize it themselves. My customers, my clients don't necessarily need to have the same level of knowledge that I do, but they need to be able to be confident that I have imparted the knowledge that they need. And that's the same whether you're an auto mechanic or a brain surgeon. You've got to go in and be able to explain to your customer, your patient, your client, what it is you do, why you have that specific knowledge to help them out, and how that's going to apply to them. What is the purpose of all that study you've done? What's the purpose of you sharing that knowledge with them? If there's no purpose behind it, if it doesn't apply to them, then really it's useless. So years ago, I got slightly addicted to a game on my phone. It was a mini golf game, just one of those time waster ones. But I had fun playing this game. And as I was in this mode of playing mini golf on my phone, a friend of mine said, "Hey, we're getting a bunch of people together to go play mini golf. Do you want to come?" I thought, yes, excellent, because I haven't actually been to a mini golf course. I was just playing on my phone. And I knew on my phone exactly how far to pull back that line to get to the hole. I knew what the wind meant on my phone. So I went out to play mini golf and I hit that first ball and I realized my knowledge of playing mini golf on my phone was absolutely useless. It was worse than useless. It had no application whatsoever to the real world. And I was horrible at mini golf. Because my specialized knowledge did not translate to the real world. There was not a purpose. The purpose of my specialized knowledge on my phone was to waste time when I'm standing in line at the DMV and things like that. It was not to be a good mini golfer at the mini golf course and win millions of dollars in mini golf tournaments and have adoring fans, which may be a thing. I don't know enough about the mini golf world to see if that actually happens or not. I don't have the specialized knowledge there. But I put too much focus on the specialized knowledge, which was of no use to me. And I've done that same thing in my own career sometimes. It's like, oh, this is interesting. Let me find out more about that. And it enriches myself a little bit. So there's some purpose behind it. But it doesn't build my career. It doesn't help me explain it better to someone else. And sometimes that results in a information overload when I'm talking to people and is actually harmful because I'm putting too much non-purpose, non-applicable, generalized knowledge. Now, it might be a very specific area, but if it doesn't have a purpose, if it does not apply to what you're doing, then it counts as generalized knowledge in my definitions. So if you're going to succeed, you have to know what you're doing. You have to find specific knowledge that will move you forward in what your goal is. However it is you do that, whether it's Ben and Jerry who did a correspondence course, whether it's Robert Mondavi, the wine mogul, who went to the local library with his brother and checked out a book on winemaking and read that book to learn how to make wine. Then they went out and did it. And okay, I'm not a wine drinker, so I don't know if it's good or not, but apparently it is because they made a lot of money on this. And they've been able to do a lot of great things and charitable contributions and things that have made the world better because they went to the library and checked out a book to gain specialized knowledge in the field that they wanted to excel at. And they applied that knowledge so that they could excel in it. And I think that's the goal of specialized knowledge. I'm all for motivating ourselves. I'm all for pumping us up. I'm all for studying and gaining that faith in what we can do, that mindset that yes, I can accomplish it. But until you learn how to actually do that, you're not going to get there. Until there's a purpose behind what you are studying and you can apply that knowledge to the areas that move you forward, to growing your business, to helping your customers, your clients, to getting a better product, knowledge is not useful. So if we go back to Napoleon Hill, once you have a belief that you want something, you've got to, start it with a desire. You want something. You have faith that you can get there. You work through auto-suggestion. You remind yourself, you give yourself stating, I think I can, I think I can. There's a word for that that'll come to me as soon as I hit stop on this recording about auto suggestion. Um, Although those things are great to build it up, because if you don't want something, you're not going to work for it. If you don't believe you can get something, you're never going to take those steps. If you haven't convinced your mind that you can do it, you're never going to make the step. But you cannot make the step until you have a specific knowledge of what it is you're doing. And that's the point here. You've got to become smarter, more knowledgeable than your customer and your competition. Then you can succeed. Once you actually do it, that's going to be a step down the road. But the first one is learn how to do it, apply that knowledge, make sure there's a purpose to what you're learning, to the knowledge you're gaining, and apply that knowledge to move forward.